Hi, this is BK. I'm just going to go through a quick run through on the FFUK CRM. So first and foremost, let's sign in. If you haven't already registered, just put in your email address and it will ask you to create a password. And then once you're in, it will ask you to create your username. But for this purposes, I'm called London BK. Now, first and foremost, when we come into the system, we see a dashboard, task panel, inquiries graph. This is just an overview to tell us what sort of happened over the course of the last few weeks. We can look at the calendar and see what are the appointments that we have for today. We can go for a weekly view or a monthly view. Should you wish to filter out any sort of events, anything that I say my events, it just disappears, sales, admin, so on and so forth. Now, registering inquiries, first and foremost, happens in two ways. Number one, you can do it straight from the calendar here, or we can go to the inquiries tab over here, which is also known as your prospects, and this shows us uncompleted prospects, so ones that haven't registered, or ones that need to register, or something that needs to be followed up. If we now take a look at what's been completed, we can see here, these are the inquiries that have been completed, and these colors represent the different stages of when they were completed. If we go to showed failed, again it tells us which ones have failed. Now, to simply add an inquiry, we just do that, and we then say where the inquiry came from. It could be a warm lead, so it could be from the website or from an email. It could be a cold call. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll do an outreach on the basis that you guys might be working on the road or maybe in the gym, and you just want to make the inquiry but don't book the appointment, something which you could follow up later on. So let's create an outreach. We'll create an inquiry, so the first name will be Pendra, the second name would be outreach test. I can add further comments to this, so I can say I'm interested in personal training and business, because I want to turn it into maybe a job or start my own agency or something. It doesn't really matter. Phone number, again, if we select from the list here, it will give us the dialing codes, but for us it's going to be United Kingdom, so we just simply enter in a mobile number. Postcode, this will help us sort of to determine the distance of the venues when we're looking to basically do the course for the particular student. And again, an email address, just in case we want to send any emails or follow up any information to the particular prospect. Current stage, we're just saying it's an inquiry. If I want to assign it to somebody, I just simply start entering the name. So let's look at a name, let's say John, and it will automatically bring in John Hamer because he's the only registered staff named John. If we maybe look at something like Ant, we can see there's two Anthonys, so we can select whichever one we wanted to go to. If I leave it blank, it will just be assigned to me, and only I will be the person that'll be able to manage this particular inquiry. So I hit submit. At this stage, it will then ask us, do we want to create an appointment? So I'm going to say I'm going to create the appointment later. Right. So now, say for example, you now come back and on a Monday or from leave or whatever it is, and you want to follow up this particular inquiry, what we can then simply do is go to open. We can obviously call the person. We can blow it out just to say if they're interested or not. We can do the registration or enrollment over the phone, or we can just create the appointment for this particular person to come in and do the appointment physically in the building. So let's say the action to be performed, in this particular instance, we're going to do a sales and admin meeting. So this basically means that they're going to go and see the salesperson, and also going to go and meet a member of the admin team. So what special notes do we have to make for the appointment? So we'll just simply say none. We don't want to assign it to anyone, and we do feel this is quite important. So what is the date that we're going to choose? So let's say we're going to choose something for Friday, and let's select the appointment time with a salesperson and a member of the admin team. So we'll just make this for Kieran and Hannah for now. We hit submit, and remember it's 9 to 10. Yeah. So basically our 9 to 10 slots with Kieran and Hannah will now be allocated. So we hit submit, we hit OK, and now that has been registered as a appointment visit. So if we now come to our calendar, in the calendar we can basically see here that these are the appointments that have been created. If I select sales appointment from here, I can register the student, reschedule it if I need to for a later date, or blow it out. And again, I could do the same with the admin appointment as well, so I can reschedule this to a later date if I need to. However, one note that we need to make aware of is that only the person that created the record, or the people that have the right privileges to the record, will be able to carry out these functions. If you don't have the correct privileges, for example, if I select this one, it basically means not completed yet and is not assigned to you. It basically means I can't do nothing with this particular inquiry until it's been assigned to myself. So what happens when we come to the inquiry stage? So we go to the calendar and we say, okay, let's register this student, or let's enroll them. What we're now going to do is we're going to click the registration button, and it already pulls in the information that we've entered into the system. All we're now going to do is just fill out the basic details. I'm a male, and my date of birth is, do I have internet access? Yes. Type of ID, again, it depends on sort of what the particular student brings in, but I'll just make one up for now. A nationality, again, I'll say I am from the United Kingdom, and then my national insurance number, which is this one. If I need to add any individual needs, I just simply hit this button, and I can basically say I may need extra time during the examinations, for example, or do I have any disabilities? Again, I can just list the disabilities here. We carry on filling these out. I'm just going to take information that I've put in from before, and the date it was achieved. We'll go back and see the actual date. Do I have any further, do I have any qualification related to this course? No. So the course that suits me is personal training and business, and the type of attendance I want to do is I want to do full time, and it'll automatically select based on distance and date availability. Yeah, so the first and foremost will go by when is the course available, put it in that order, and then list it based on its distance. And this basically tells us 90% is still open to be completed. So we've only filled up 10% of this particular course. If I take, for example, let's say we're going to do BK into Vale Farm Wembley. Yep, so I select Vale Farm Wembley. Do I have any additional information that may affect my attendance? Well, I need to pick up child on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. We just do the final bits, fill in the emergency info, equal opportunities, and how did you hear about us? At the moment, these are the options that we have. If you feel that you need obviously more options, then obviously let us know and we'll add these in. If we're going to do a referral scheme, we just say a friend from FFUK, and let's just put in junior for this particular person. How are they going to pay? Well, we're going to pay in full. Learning provider is going to be John Frank, and the current stage is to scan the ID forms and give it to the admin team, so we hit submit. As soon as we've done that, we've got the FFUK enrollment form completed, and we make a note of the course number, so if we ever need to go back and check what course this particular user has been registered to, we can just simply do a search on that there. So once the student has been registered, what we go to is the students tab here, and we can see straight away we've got the Pendra Outreach test. Now if I want to search for a particular student, I could just simply type in their name, just put in John, and we can see all the different types of Johns. If I've got a specific John AB, there we go. Luckily there is a John AB. Alright, so if we come out of this and we go to the profile that we've created, and we say review profile, we can see here the current progress in terms of the CRM and the information that's already on the system. If we go to academic, at the moment this bit's not done, but it'll give us all the academic information in relation to the course. And if I go to communication, it gives me the opportunity to send an email or an SMS to this particular person. So if we go to general info first and foremost, and say for example we need to edit this record, we can simply come here and hit edit. It'll pull in the information for us, And then once we've made the changes, we basically hit submit. So say for example, I may have misspelled my last name, so I just change that to Kara, and then basically hit submit. And as soon as I've done that, it updates the form for me. If I go back to my students tab here, we can see Bhupendra Kara now exists. If I go to view profile, I can now have a look at the FFUK ILR form. I just simply do that, right click, print, and just wait for it to load up like this before we go to print. This particular form is done in portrait, so we'll print that in portrait. We can then close this tab and go to the ILP form. We'll just say open in a new tab. Again, with this particular one, it doesn't have the print option here, so all we simply do is we come to our browser and we hit the print option there, or you can do hold control and hit P and it'll bring up the print dialog for you. And again, this is portrait. All the other forms on the system are portrait bar the Learn Direct ILP form. So if I select this particular form here, this may take a little bit longer to load up, obviously with the amount of data that it needs to process. But for me to print this form, I right click and I hit print. Please remember, never print this particular form in landscape, in portrait, sorry. It's designed for it to be printed in landscape. So if I come here and I change my option to landscape and I do the print, I wait for the preview to be loaded. If I want to double check, obviously I can scroll through the form and see if the information is being filled in correctly or what needs to be filled in. And I just simply hit print and it'll print out the form for me. Now if I go back to the students, what we can also do is we can send an email to this particular student. So when sending an email, what we've got to make sure of is the name of the person and the signature is added in automatically. So all we want to do is we want to write the text. So let's say, for example, quick reminder to bring your ID for next student assessment. Now, as soon as I hit send, it will ask me for a confirmation, and obviously I now come and check my emails, and straight away I've got an email from FFUK basically saying, hi Bhupendra, quick reminder to bring your ID for the next assessment, and it's automatically added in my signature. Now, the address at the bottom here will amend itself automatically depending on which office you're actually emailing from. So if I did Manchester, it will automatically put in the details for Manchester. Now, what I'm going to do now quickly is I'm going to turn up the notifications on my phone so we can basically receive an SMS through the system. So let me just turn this up. Okay, right, so now what we're going to do with the SMS, again, what it does, it automatically takes the name of the student into the system. We are limited on this to about 130 characters, so the name is part of the characters list, or any spaces are characters, so on and so forth. So if we type in a message, and what we want to say again is reminder to bring your ID for next assessment, and this could be sent in the morning, it could be sent previous to the day that they're supposed to come. So we just simply hit send, and what it will now do is we'll just simply send the SMS to my phone. So let's just hit listen out for the notification. Yeah, okay, I've just received a message from FFUK and it's saying, hi Bhupendra, reminder to bring your ID for next assessment. And that's basically it, guys. I mean, there's nothing too complicated about it, very straightforward, and very, very easy to do. Now, if you are a member of the tutors team, right, what we can do here is let's just have a quick look at the course that I enrolled in. So if we come out of this and we have a look at my registration form, we can see that I've enrolled into the course number London 96 for VAF, which is Vale Farm. So to see the actual course, I just simply go to this page, hit Control F on my keyboard to open up the search dialog, and I hit London 96, and that will bring me to my course here. So this is fitness and personal training, and this is personal training in business. So this is where I was registered to. I simply select that, and what that does, it gives me a list of the students that are currently registered on this particular course. Now, if I want to drill down in terms of getting the attendance register for these, I simply click the attendance register, and in the same way we do our printing of the forms, we just simply hit the print button here, and it will automatically generate the attendance for week 1. If I want to then do the attendance for week 2, I just simply hit week 2, hit the print button, and it highlights here so that we know when we're handing in the forms that week 1, week 2, week 3, so on and so forth was highlighted for us. Okay, right, so that's basically it from there. Now, if we come back to tasks, now these are different tasks that we can assign to ourselves or members of the team. And again, it could be, very, very simple things. So if we want to add a task, we might say the task is a reminder for emails to be sent LON 96 VAF, right? Now all I'm doing is I'm creating a task just to remind myself that we need to send out emails a week before, just to remind students to have certain things ready, right? So this is your 1 week before reminder. So we make a note of that. And we'll leave it blank because I'll be managing this. The priority on this is again important, and the deadline this needs to be completed by is the 16th, and we'll change the time so it's 12 o'clock. Once we're happy with that, we just click here and we hit submit. Okay, so now that task has now been added. Reminder for emails to be sent. Right now, again, these tasks could be marked as completed or marked as uncompleted. This basically tells us whether these actions are being carried out or not. So let's go back to something that I created earlier this year. View, we were unable to complete. Yes. Okay. If I go to show failed, it gives me a list of all the failed tasks that have actually taken place. If I go to show completed, and these are the completed tasks that have taken place. Look and feel could be in a tabular format, it could be in this format. These just basically, it's done like this to basically tell us these are the different stages of when these tasks were supposed to be carried out, so the level of importance. So if we go to our calendar, we can see that here there's now added a new task in blue. So anything blue is basically a task. If I select it again, it will then ask me, did I carry out this task or did I not? So I say mark as finished, yes, it's completed. Okay. So now, when I refresh the calendar, it will basically put a tick against that particular item to basically say that this particular task was completed. So when I'm looking at my tasks analytics, I can say for Pendulum was assigned 10 tasks, and out of those 10 tasks, 8 of them were completed, and another 2 were rolled on to the following month. Why? Only BK can answer that question. Now, if we look at our appointment here, we can see that BK has got the green tick against the tick against his sales appointment. That basically means that from this particular appointment, the student was enrolled. Yeah, so we've taken the inquiry, we may have followed it up, and we've closed it off. So that's a successful sale, right? Now, when the admin team take over, their job is to carry out their duties, and then mark as finished. We hit yes, completed, and again when we refresh the calendar, we can see that this task has now also been completed. So this just gives us a good idea in terms of what's going on in the system, and what tasks are being completed and which ones haven't, and which ones need to be followed up. If you have any questions, obviously let your account manager know. If there's features and functions that would aid you in completing your day-to-day activities, again, let your account manager know, and they'll come back to us and tell us these are the outstanding requests that need to be filled in order for the system to work specifically for you guys. So play around with it, have a look through all the different features and functions. Some of you may not have all of these on your menu tab because you may not have the right privileges, but again, don't worry about that. Our main job here is to look at the inquiries, turn that into registered students, and then how do we go away and manage those students when we're doing the enrollment process, or if we're going to be doing the post-enrollment process, i.e. getting them into the classroom, making sure they're prepared, so on and so forth. Thank you for your time and have a good day.